Working hard on my stump, what's the problem? I ain't had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Bron James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Shut the John on them jets, cause we wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flip. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof with my first whip. Spent the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs in the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn.
Hey, 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 hey. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, yo, yeah, I forgot that nigga Mike not even doing his Monday meetings this week because I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell why. Y'all know I don't like fucking meetings. So if somebody tell me we not having a meeting, I'm not asking any questions at all. Right? Oh, we ain't meeting next week? Cool. Can we not have this meeting right now? See y'all later. Like, I don't know why. All I know is we was at lab meeting last week on Wednesday, and he was like, I'm not doing my Monday meetings next week. I asked no further questions. I just forgot that shit. So I ended the broadcast. I jumped on my Zoom, and when I jumped on, not my Zoom, Mike's Zoom, and then when I jumped in there and he didn't show up for a few minutes, I was like, what the hell is going on? He's a pretty timely guy. And then I remember he said he wasn't doing his Monday meetings. So I was like, cool, let me get the fuck out of here. Yeah, so let me just play an OG Roddy song, take a quick smoke break, and then I gotta shoot off this little doc to him real fast, and then I wanna do a couple of things on this Avida-ED video potentially, and that's really gonna be kind of that. That way I have that ready for my 5 o'clock with Rob. So I'll probably stream till a few minutes before 5, have my meeting with Rob. And then after that, I'll be back for the evening stream where actually I'm gonna just probably be reading the next chapter of Tower of Babel, chapter 2. Let me think about that actually. Thinking. Thinking. No, I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I think when I come back tonight, we're just gonna play games, go to the ranch. Yeah. I think because it's Monday, I'm not supposed to do a lot on Mondays, and I need to be more disciplined about that. Chapter 2 of all the chapters in Rob's book so long. Rob's a philosopher, y'all reading a philosophy book. But I'm not gonna do that stuff tonight. Also, I encourage y'all to get that Avida-ED exercise in. I might mention that real quick. But let's chill out, everybody, catch a vibe real fast, and then we'll do what we gotta do. I'm having fun. Let me man. I've been getting into the Essentials playlist. It's so good. Y'all know I got my songs on here that I love to hear all the time. But I've been playing some of the other songs, and a lot of y'all been vibing off of them. I really appreciate that. Don't forget, man, the playlist is available in our Discord. Actually, I'm gonna probably repost it in our Discord, depending on how long it's been since I've done that, because I don't want people to have to scroll up forever to find it. But so I should start posting it periodically in there. I'll have to remember to do that. But yeah, it's definitely in there. Let's go ahead and but I gotta hear my song right now. I want to hear that shot of Jerz. Pull up.
Yeah.
OG Roddy, no, I got my favorites, and this is definitely one of them.
Relax and sipping that If this was 2K shit, I could hit you on my two-way, or I could try to make you my new babe. I laid the dick down proper, it's a new day. Who ordered expensive lobster?
Ooh, that electric piano came in so smooth.
Had to pull up in that CP3. Now do you love me? Look, he shot town to New Jersey. We gon' pull up. Hell yeah, I got the hook up. Anytime that you need me, we gon' pull up. Damn right, I got the hook up. And saying you gotta act brand new. Nah, I can't stand you. Had to bring you round just to show what the fam do. No text, no calls, no reasons to be involved. Young John Wall taking what's give it and get it off. Come on.
What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. Living in the moment,
in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners?
Disrespect about me.
Disrespect about me.
City, so you know I'm about it.
So you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
about it. Playing, no, I had to shout it. Days I'm in the hood like
what it is.
Like slide up on you like what up, bitch. Cause you know
James is live? That's what's up. That's what's up. I know James is live. I haven't hopped on YouTube.
But now it's different though, I guess it's cool. You wasn't shy about my love, remember after school days when I picked you up. So now you fucked around and changed.
Yeah, after probably this, I'm a rock the James too. Oh, he said the funny's blown up in his inbox. Oh.
On your weekend shit, I might just wish I never met her like call Tom Miz, but I ain't tripping no. Stay up on the grind, we gon' get some dough. And you got that good ass brain, I had to let you know. I really wanna let you know. Tell me where you wanna go and what you wanna know. Whoa.
I can't turn my record off right now. What's up, James? Hold up, though. No disrespect about me. I'm with the city, so you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
when you playing, no, I had to shout it. So you know I'm about it. I can tell.
What you doing, girl? Pull up on me. Living in the moment, like
in the city with the gas roll for you. Can I come get you and we bend them corners like disrespect about me.
But disrespect about me. I'm with the city, so you know I'm about it.
I can tell you about it.
Now let me tell you
when you playing, no, I had to shout it.
All right.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That's how people should be talking to me about James. When I be putting people on like these James Apperson motherfuckers, and y'all be discovering James Apperson and shit through me, y'all should be like, and Gin and Truth. When y'all find people like James Apperson and Gin and Truth to me, y'all should be like, damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yes, I was. And I wasn't even trying to hide it. It sort of was. I really tried to send a straight-faced message. I wouldn't quit laughing. This is so stupid. So here's the thing. Yes, what he's doing is an attack, right? It's aggressive, it's social, it's mean-spirited, it's toxic, it's abusive, it's self-righteous and narcissistic. He's coming after me, right? He's trying to mentally enslave me with fear and narcissistic social leveraging and all this bullshit. And while most people find that to be angering or panicking or troubling, they recognize it as an assault, right? They recognize it as bad behavior aimed at them, and so they feel maybe attacked or threatened or whatever. And yes, technically I am being attacked and threatened. but I didn't feel attacked and threatened. You know, a lot of times people in our community will say, you know, that a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon or somebody else has been like, you know, knocking on their door or reaching out to them in some capacity, or maybe their friends and family have been coming to them about some religious bullshit and they're relentless about it. And I sympathize with them, right? Like, I totally get why they don't welcome that. They don't want that in their life. They wish religious people would stop knocking at their doors, stop blowing up their inbox, stop sending them stuff in the mail, stop preaching to them during family gatherings and stuff like that. I totally get it, right? But here's the thing. I've metabolized it differently. Not a better or worse way, just differently. So I wish Mormons and JWs would knock on my door. I wish I still had extended family, so I could go to extended family gatherings, so that I could have people like try to push some Jesus on me, so that I could call them on it and set them straight on this shit. Like, I wish they would. Right? I wish a fucker would. I wish they would. And it's just, it never happens to me, like, hardly ever, except in my inbox. And so I find it amusing, but I get why other people don't, right? I get why other people feel like it's an attack and an assault, because that's what they're trying to do. But I think it's the funnest thing. It's so amusing and so entertaining. And I spent so much of my life,
the most said what now?
Even after that, where I didn't have a voice of my own. Right? I was always afraid to speak up and felt like I was wrong to speak up. And I love speaking up and speaking my own voice so much that I cherish opportunities to do so. Because I don't go after people, right? No matter if it's online or a family gathering or whatever, I do not go after people. I wait for them to come after me, because then it's fair, right? So, you know, that's how I balance it out. Going back over the comments for your name, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Right, nut job, you have no power here, right? Hunter Biden's laptops. Trump is president. Drop a link. Oh, sorry, I missed that. 12:27, 2 minutes ago. I guess that wasn't so. Usually I'm like 4 minutes behind on chat. Here we go. Dropping a link. So, I don't know who's new here and didn't hear all of that. There's a whole lot more conversation there. In fact, I haven't even listened to all his messages yet. Like, I got tired last night of him saying more stuff. And I knew that it was going to be gold, right? I knew it was going to be, like, it's like Christmas. I almost can't wait to open my presents. I can't wait to hear what other ridiculous bullshit this guy said. Logan Fisher says, I picture James like the Joker in that scene. Hit me. Come on, hit me. Yes, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it, Logan Fisher. So that's the stream, by the way, the invite link. So I don't know if I missed you or not. Hunter Biden's laptop said, I'm here just to spread the truth. Absolutely. Ricky says, same for me, James. I only respond to family that talks to me about church first. Yeah, absolutely. Then they regret it because I asked them Honey Jay, the truth is what I call my ass cheeks. So, here we go. Hey, Jay. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Great.
So yeah, I'm late to the party, and I don't know what's going on because I had the audacity of having regular meetings scheduled, you know, for this part of the day that I stream or sometimes. But so I apologize for not clearing my schedule with you first. And not making sure you wouldn't be dropping bombs out here on Monday afternoon, which is you're entitled to do that. So if you could just give me a quick on what happened, but also I'm not going to stay because I want to listen while I'm doing what I got to do. But I also want to say it sounds like we got something to set up. Now listen, folks, I'm gonna just tell y'all what's happening. Y'all know what I'm here to do: promote fights. Okay. What we got to do is our first real big event. And what's going to happen is I'm calling it basically the Survivor Series. You know what I mean? This is basically like the Thanksgiving special. So it's going to be somewhere right around Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to have a big super card, a showdowns, and maybe I need to get with this person and set it up. Go ahead.
I like the idea. I like the idea a lot. I even told him I'd love to have him on my YouTube. Now, according to him, his YouTube hasn't been acting correctly, and he's got to get it fixed first. I have no idea what that means. I guess he's got to send his YouTube to the shop to have it fixed.
Probably has to get unsuspended.
Probably. Damn, I hadn't thought about that. True.
I'm having technical difficulties with my YouTube account.
Oh my god. I don't know how it didn't occur to me because, yeah, that's almost certainly it. So as he makes himself available, yeah, I'll tell him, let's set it up. Let's have this debate online and he can witness to people and we'll have a good time with it. But we'll have to do trigger warnings because a lot of people don't like hearing it, like even third party.
Yeah.
Right?
So just make sure you come through and we'll work it out. Also, next time you get a chance, just remind me. Today would be good if you do come through later because I want to make sure that I get your channel set up on our stuff so that when you come through, because you co-host with me so regularly, I'd like to make sure you could just go live. That way, if you come through, you could just go live on your channel. I
should have went together. I didn't even think about that today, Jay. Sorry about that. I should have went together.
No. It's not a big deal. No. You're not obligated to. I appreciate it when you do, though. Because, yeah, I'd love for you to hold it down there. I think it'd give people, again, the more reason there's for people to be in there, then I think the more overlap we'll get. But also, I just want to be able to add your channel to my restream is what I'm talking about. So that way when you pop up, if you want to put it on your channel, you can just let me know and I'll add it to the streams and stuff. So I think we do that once and then it'll be taken care of forever. But, yeah, dude, I'm excited. This sounds awesome. Cameron came through and told me that he was that you were live. I just hadn't pulled up my YouTube yet. So this is super exciting, and I'm glad to hear more about it. Sorry I'm late to the party, Jays, but I'm really loving this. I wanna keep listening. But before I want to go, I just want to say hi to Chris. Chris, much love, bro. It's good to see you always. Did he just pop out for a second? All right.
He's probably got technical difficulties.
Got you. But yeah, much love, James. I'm gonna listen. I'm enjoying this, and I'll catch you later.
Awesome.
Also, much love, chap. Appreciate all y'all. All right, man. I'm out of here.
All right.
I'm out of here.
All right. So that's where we're at for now, guys. It's like, I don't know. Like, I can keep playing messages if you guys want me to. Eventually, we're going to reach some I haven't even heard yet. And then he eventually sends me these images that don't prove what he thinks that they prove. Let me get Chris back here again. Let me read what else has been said. Yes, the loudest folks online seem to get real quiet when I say, let's do a stream. Right? When you're like, hey, let's have this discussion, all of a sudden they got someplace else to be, right?
Yeah,
so,
sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It's just like just kind of like all the windows just kind of, anyway.
It happens.
I kind of shut myself down. So
Chris, did you hear some of these messages that I played?
Oh, yeah. And
what are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, it's the stereotypical, I don't know if you wanted to keep it PG-13 over here, but it basically boils down to I have a big dick, type of posturing, and it's just it's just posturing basically for me, and it's like I've grown cynical on people that do that, and even if it's guys or gals, girls, or anybody.
Hey guys, I'm just reading over this document real quick. It's going to be kind of weird because I'm reading over this. I just want to revise it a little bit. You guys are perfectly welcome to read along with me. I'm only going to do this for a little bit, and then I'm going to send it off to my advisor to check out. But basically, I'm not going to read it all aloud and stuff because I'm going to let us listen to the podcast.
I find it helpful in a way because this is what I love about Audible Communication, because it has extra layers of communication embedded in it, right? So if you just read the words on the text, you can see the bullshit they're sitting on. But when you get to hear them say it, right, then you can hear more about where they're coming from. They're telling you more about themselves and more about their mindset and their attitude. So we can hear things like narcissism, probably clinical narcissism, and aggression and entitlement and that whole big dick energy leveraging, trying to leverage over other people, and this absolutism, right? This absolute lack of humility that they're calling humility, and this lack of love that they're calling love, right? And
yeah,
we can hear it in their tone of voice even more than the words.
Yeah, sure. It's pretty much, it's like, for us that basically stopped drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever you want to call it. It's like we could smell this like a mile away, and it's not impressive. Like, I've actually once told you about Mohammed Hijab. It's like he's a big muscle guy, and it's like most of his videos is like it's, yeah, he's Muslim and all that stuff, but it's just, to me, it's not like, it's not impressive. You're not. No. Anyway, it's just that, and the whole Avida-ED crew. It's like, you're not impressive to me, and you're basically like, if you would allow me, is that the image that I have in my head is that they basically were the skinny kids in the schoolyard back in primary school, and basically to overcompensate, they got beefed up, and 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 also, like I said, I've spent detention, and I've spent detention with these type of guys. Not that I wasn't in detention specifically, but due to the fact that during the wintertime I couldn't go outside, or
I understand. Well, here's the thing though. I would let people assume you've been in detention because it helps to push the bad boy image here in the YouTube community. Especially with the hot babes.
Yo, what's that program you're supposed to use?
Out there,
Wordly?
I want to let you know I was often in detention. That's how bad I am, baby. Often in detention. And it got my former jailmate Chris Moore here with me, talking about the hard time we did in detention. And we're just a product of streets, and you just can't tame us. We're just raw carnal animals, and we make no apologies at all for that. Just want to let you know. So that's where we're coming from, the mean streets and hardcore detention, and that's just how we roll. And we got the whole teardrop tattoos and everything. So,
I basically was the
guys. What's the name of that app that like checks all your writing shit for you? God, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Color or whatever, which was basically like the legitimate guy with like the legitimate.
What the fuck is that called?
Guy of the group.
Sure.
And it's just basically because I didn't really technically belong there, but it's because by the time and this is kind of goes with my quote unquote routine thing, is by the time I put on my boots on, take off my shoes, indoor shoes.
We're listening to James Apperson. I'm working on writing something, and I'm trying to look at this app that, I'm trying, Grammarly, thank you. Oh, my fucking God, Joel.
Sorry.
So, well, Chris is what, and we get it. I mean, because you're bad to the bone.
Thank you so
I'm
much,
guessing you
Joel.
probably just sometimes kept your muddy boots on and right through the house defiantly. Because that's what I would do. Because we're just we're mean beasts.
Yeah.
Just admit it, Chris.
Pardon me?
Just admit it. Just admit it. You're just like this rebel animal guy, and like you probably drove a motorcycle right through your mom's living room. Hey, Mom. Sup?
Joel said he loves the virtual vision. Thank you. What kind of opportunities? I hope not the opportunity to continue to be exploited. Unfortunately, paid for it. What's going on here? Yeah. That's the thing. The survival series thing is. I'm hoping it'll be super fun. Most people are into it. Uncle Bobby's into it, right? Yeah, man. Uncle Bobby's with the crew, man. I think Uncle Bobby's, he's here to whoop some fucking ass, and I think he's pretty much willing to do whatever it takes to do it. So, people are gonna be fucking having to contend with me, Uncle Bobby, Wayne, fucking my one black friend, right? The fucking 4 black ass horsemen. What the fuck are they gonna do with that? Then we got James, we got Tux, we got fucking Lena. I mean, we got this whole fucking super team of fucking people. We've even got Cameron Bennett's fucking friendly ass. Friendly Cameron Bennett. But everybody wants to talk to Cameron. Super sexy Cameron. Former SDA. We got former SDA super sexy buff Cameron. Fucking good guy. Y'all know in the video game I'm gonna be trying to whoop Cameron's ass, right? Because I'm a bad guy. And y'all know Cameron's a good guy, so y'all already know it is what it is. It's not personal. Me and Cameron love each other in real life, but this is fucking wrestling, okay? So it just has to be what it is. And fucking Cat ain't even be liking to talk about that shit. The bitches just be dropping all the fire podcasts. He got like a celebrity fiance and shit. He's like the number 2 in that relationship. Clearly, can't blame you. It just be that way. It just be that way sometimes. You might be Jay-Z. You might be Jay-Z. You really might be Hove like that. Hove is The Rock. You really might be all of that. But she Beyonce, so it's just, hey, bro, it's levels to the game, Hove. It's levels to the game. You see what I'm saying? It's a different type of thing, bro. Sorry. Yeah, you the number 2, bro. Yeah, it's the CEO, The Rock, the Def Jam, the Billions. Yeah, we heard all that. But that's the queen right there. Yeah, that's the queen. Yeah, sorry about your damn luck. Yeah, I know you work real hard. You work real hard to be number 2 in your own house. Yeah, number 2 in your own house. You're just gonna have to deal with that. You're just gonna have to deal with that.
Therapist about it. Come to terms with how.
Don't get too insecure about it.
Talking to them, not even looking at them.
A lot of superstars
at home. So when I'm really feeling antisocial, I find.
So, but anyway, yeah, the pay-per-view gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a whole lineup. We got to see what the card is gonna be. That's what me and Wayne are gonna work on. Me and Wayne gonna work on this damn card. All right, now let me see this fucking Grammarly shit.
This is great.
Yeah, and also another thing is that when it comes to crowds, I am usually.
What is your website like? What are you? Okay,
in a classroom, I don't really have any choice because I have to.
There's like a free Grammarly. Let's do that one.
Exits. That's how things kind of rolled. But anyway, if it was my own choice, I am not somebody that's gonna be in.
All right, maybe there was one of these, my man. I'll ask Rob. Rob is the person who actually reminded me about this thing.
And even
so I'll check it later. All right, cool. Because Word does this automatically.
So like.
I just don't have Word on this machine.
I mean, I get that. I'm the same way whenever I get to heaven or hell or wherever I'm going. I'm going to want to be by the exit, right? So if I'm in heaven, I don't want to be anywhere near Sky Daddy because I think he sucks and he probably stinks. And I'm just going to be near the exit so that I can kind of hop off when I need to. Play hooky from heaven and go hang out in hell for a while.
Where's the one?
That's the plan anyway. So people talk about how I'm going to go to hell. I'm like, I don't care. You're just talking about my mailing address. I'm gonna be mobile, man. I'm gonna sneak out the back door and go places I'm not supposed to be because that's just what makes it fun. So,
well, in the immortal the immortal. I'm probably going to squash this.
Oh, right.
Immortal,
Because I think what happened was a lot of our students were writing in Google Docs, and it didn't have this type of feature. And so we were trying to do that. And then I was trying to figure out like which one I would use, which is kind of hard. It's weird because the whole purpose of using LibreOffice, right, is that it's free. Once you get into premium things, it's like you just go into probably a word processor that has it. I'm just trying to realize like, why doesn't this have stuff like, it doesn't seem to like want to check my grammar or anything like that. And I'm like, I didn't realize this didn't have that. I thought it would have had like a easy, check my grammar type of situation. Maybe I should look it up and see if I should have done that first, right? Let's see. LibreOffice. Check grammar. Wait, why did I click on that here? All right, what is Grammarly talking about? Get Grammarly, it's free. All right, cool. Sign up with Google, nice. Yep, Hunter Biden's laptops, perfect. Hi, two-step verification. Oh, live.
So also saved from.
Don't you know how much
and saved
money
from his
my
money
time
too.
is worth?
Like he's not going to be burdened with that anymore. And saved from his freedom, saved from adulthood, saved from autonomy, saved from logic, saved from reason, saved ethics, saved from having good, healthy relationships with other human beings, saved from having to grow up and stop being a narcissist, right? Like, has done just so much for him. So we can all be really happy.
Sounds like addicts to me, though.
Sure, he's
trying to get that shot of that dopamine, that sweet dopamine, just like that, like one more, just one more.
Yeah.
Sorry for being,
right. He is.
But
we're listening to our buddy James Apperson. He's talking to our other friend
for a way
Chris.
to get these dopamine rushes off of posturing narcissistically over other people.
I'm trying to do some work, but we're listening to that. It's like you're watching me work, and that's the podcast I'm listening to. It is
saving human angel on
right
earth,
here.
basically.
James Apperson. Let me drop the link.
And saving them for what God's going to do to them if he doesn't let them save him. Right? And I explained to him, like, the whole damn thing's a racketeering scheme. I explained exactly how it's a racketeering scheme. But, these people don't care because they've got these delusions of grandeur that they're going to get lost in, and that's all that matters. These people don't care. You can't reason with them at all, right? Now, they're not all that... Go ahead.
Yeah. Like, again, sorry for being rated R, but I prefer my dopamine rush when it comes to masturbation instead of this type, but whatever.
Even better.
Well, I mean, what he's doing is just a form of mental masturbation anyways, and he doesn't even recognize that.
It's mass psychosis, but, mass psychosis on a placebo crap, but anyway, I'm just
B.S. Lewis says, fun fact, too much dopamine causes psychosis.
I like that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. And, I mean, you can't really reason with these people, right? So it doesn't even matter what I say, or it doesn't matter what you say. There was something, like, every new week, there's something that comes out somewhere in our network. Vice Rhino just released something about reasonable doubts about the resurrection. And next week, somebody else in our network will release something new. Maybe it'll be Apologia, maybe it'll be Godless Engineer, maybe it'll be Myth Vision. In fact, Myth Vision has one coming up here in another 9 days, I think.
He's good.
There's just... Yeah. So, we're lucky to have Myth Vision, because they give us so much more access to educational materials that we couldn't normally get online, because a lot of times professors and authors and people like that, like real high-end people that are experts in these fields, they don't. A lot of times, they don't directly engage with the questions that are foremost on our
All right, I
minds
don't need this
in
right
our
now.
community. They're not too worried about whether or not they're offering a soundbite for atheists or anything else. They don't care.
I was mostly just worried about
When you actually
conjunctions.
stop and you ask them these questions, they're willing to answer them, right? And so it gives us a whole bunch, and we don't care what the answers are. Just tell us what the answers are and how you arose at that, and let's talk about.
Let me reiterate it. Let me reiterate it. Is that basically scientists and anybody that follows the scientific method have a specific language. Have a specific lingo to which they abide. And to this, you need to be precise and all that stuff.
All right, here we go. I'll read this again with you guys. For better or worse, YouTube is the largest educational institution in the world. People use YouTube videos and live streams to learn recipes, take guitar lessons, and stay up to date on current events. Unfortunately, YouTube might also be the world's largest purveyor of nonsense, misinformation, and conspiracy theories. As scientists and educators, we have unprecedented opportunities to leverage mass communication in order to share our research and scientific culture with the world, but we also face previously unseen attacks and challenges in an unregulated virtual arena. I am a reality streamer, the YouTube version of the star of a small but growing reality television show, a science entertainer. I am an experimental evolutionary biologist. I perform experiments to test evolutionary theory. I do this primarily using digital organisms, self-replicating computer programs that evolve in virtual environments. I'm using these organisms to pursue some of those fascinating topics in my field, including historical contingency, cultural evolution, and the evolution of mating systems, and the origin of life itself. I also teach a senior seminar based on a curriculum I designed in my Preparing Future Faculty class called Darwin's Law. My class focuses on evolutionary theory and the underlying philosophy of science. The class features a laboratory section where students use educational software with digital organisms to learn evolution by performing hands-on experiments. My community loves the idea of supporting my scholarship. I share as much of my academic journey with them as possible. They tune in to watch me prepare lessons, give professional presentations, code my research experiments, draft manuscripts, develop grants, and meet with colleagues and advisors. I also host podcasts, moderate panel discussions, make creative videos, participate in debates, and cover the news. My presence on the internet has attracted the attention of some anti-evolution, religiously motivated apologists. These content creators have created a thriving cottage industry by attacking evolutionary biology on a daily basis. It is not uncommon for them to set their sights on projects I've been directly, let's just say, I've been directly involved with, including Richard E. Lenski's long-term evolution experiment, the longest-running evolution experiment in the history of science, and Avida-ED, a very popular evolution education software. I did my doctoral research in the Lenski lab. I've written exercises for Avida-ED. I use it in my course, and I am on the Avida-ED development team. To put it mildly, they have... they've barked up the wrong tree. These individuals and their supporters intend to undermine our research efforts and retard the evolutionary literacy of the general public. I fear these bad actors will continue to exploit quote-unquote equal time on the internet in lieu of the public school curriculum. I have become an important voice in this community, a champion for our evolution. I am able, ready, and most importantly, willing to fight back. 5 years from now, when I am an associate professor, probably in the Big Ten. I guess this doesn't have to be formal, but we'll just get rid of those. We'll just keep revising it. I will be the principal investigator in my own lab. My lab will focus on computational approaches to experimental evolution and the use of multimedia technologies in the sciences. I'll be teaching 2 courses, Darwin's Law, and a course titled simply Science in Multimedia Lab. My multimedia class will teach students how to produce a range of multimedia products, including technical documents, graphics, animation, multi-track audio mixes, videos, and live streams. Students will also learn about the science behind the engineering of these technologies and how these approaches are used in scientific applications and how these tools, let's go over tools. And everybody knows what tools are. Tools are used in scientific applications. Most of the undergraduate researchers, graduate students, and postdocs working in my lab. I want to say attracted to my lab. No, I like drawn. Drawn is just simpler. It was nice. Drawn in my lab. We'll have a strong interest in research, teaching, and making creative content. My lab will also be primarily virtual. I was able to find great success working remotely before the pandemic due to the computational nature of my work. COVID-19 accelerated the normalization of remote work. I believe in the near, let's just say, remote work in many sectors. Let's just leave it at remote work. I believe in the near future. Let's just say, yeah. Let's just say, I believe, here we go. Universities will continue to show extraordinary commitment to progressive work climates. Period. I intend for my lab to lead by example. I could say more about my personal academic ambitions. Honestly, I've already recognized that my career will be over in relatively short order. 25 years and I'm about this bitch. If I intend to leave a legacy in evolutionary biology, the most likely route is by funding and training future generations of evolutionary biologists. Evolutionary scientist. I'm currently working on a proposal that would fund a multi-year, multiple mentor, research intensive training program for talented undergraduates from underrepresented backgrounds preparing PhD programs related to evolutionary biology. All right. I'm currently working on a proposal that will fund a multi-year, multiple mentor, research-intensive training program that for talented undergraduate students from underrepresented backgrounds. preparing for PhD programs related to evolutionary biology. Let's go with in ecology and evolution. All right. Yeah. 10 years from now, I'll be doing everything to keep this program funded long after I retire. And yes, I'm sure so many more of these damn things. Doing everything I can to keep this program funded long after I retire. And yes, I am sure I will still be fighting morons on the internet. All right. Let me see. All right. And yes, I'm sure I will still be fighting apologists on the internet. All right. I got evolution first, then ecology. Let's just throw that in there. Sounds all nice. Boom. Copy. Perfect. All right. Save. Let's actually save as. All right. Now let's, I just need to email this to my advisor real quick. Let's listen to James.
Because otherwise, for us as professionals, catalogers, it would be considered malpractice. Because because the rules of how catalogers live by is in direct conflict with that statement. So
of course it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we understand that. I mean, we probably could have said this in 60 seconds or less, but I get your point.
Sorry, I'll just shut up right now.
No, I'm not trying to get you to shut up. I'm just saying that I get the point. There's multiple versions of the Quran, and the people that work in libraries would appreciate this because they've got to separately catalog the different multiple versions of the Quran. They would each get their own ICBN number. They would, because there's a difference. Now, if there's no difference, right? Somebody buys 2 different copies of the Quran, and there's literally no difference. Same material entirely. Then you'd only need one of them, right? And you just give it an ICBN number, and you're done. Now, if there's 2 different publishers, you'd still register them differently, but there's no other distinction to be made, right? You just, this is the one published by such and such, and one published by so. But
I'm not really hearing you right with you're basically on the loudspeaker or something like that. Just to let you know.
Sorry. So I was a little bit further away. So I get what you're saying, Chris, and I appreciate that. So yeah, it comes up often enough, right? Where religious fundamentalists want to tell us about the Bible this and the Bible that, and often I'll tell them, I'm like, the Bible doesn't exist. There's a whole bunch of different Bibles, and they don't agree with each other about what stuff's supposed to say. They've been translated differently, and sometimes they include different things. There are things that are in the Catholic Bibles that aren't in Protestant Bibles, and vice versa. And there's some Bibles that don't even include the last chapter of Mark, and some that do, but put a footnote that says this may or may not supposed to be here. And there are different passages that are rendered differently in different Bibles, and they have significantly different meanings and implications about how we're supposed to live our lives, and about the character and agenda of God and things like that. So there isn't the Bible. There is no the Bible. It doesn't exist. There's just Bibles, plural, and they're all competing to be the quote-unquote Word of God. But it's the same thing with religion and Christianity, right? There is no the Christian church. There's so many countless different ideas about what counts as Christianity and what doesn't. That when just someone says, just accept Jesus, or you need to accept Christianity, or, it's just a nonsensical thing, because it literally doesn't mean anything, because everybody's got their own version. And, it's the same thing with Qurans and different versions and stuff. That's more of a problem in Christianity, but it's still a problem in Islam as well. So, it just doesn't mean anything. And I've told Rebecca this before. I'm like, look, it doesn't matter how many times you say just accept Jesus. Until you have a very specific conceptualization of Jesus in mind, it literally doesn't mean anything. And then even when you do have a specific conceptualization of Jesus in mind, it only means something inside your own head. Because we're talking about a library's worth of nuance inside somebody's own head about who and what Jesus is all about. Right, all the different rules and all the different ways we're supposed to interpret it and apply it to our lives and things like that, and the different details about things Jesus did or didn't say and what he really meant and all this other stuff. So in the meantime, it's so unique to the individual person that even if they have a specific conceptualization in mind, they're never going to be able to communicate.
James is just fucking phenomenal,
There's not
y'all.
enough time in a lifetime
fucking
for them to communicate
phenomenal.
all the nuances of their conceptualized God to other people. And even if they could, and even to sit here and listen to it, we would only be picking a Christian at random, right? Because there's so many competing Christians. How would you even decide which one to listen to in order to have them even attempt to articulate their ideas about who God is and what God wants? Even if they manage to get it all out into words, and even if you listen to every single word of it, which isn't practical, but even if we did, there's going to be a big difference between what they meant and what we understand, because that's a language barrier thing, right? Because these words have differences and implications to them in the way they store information in their brain than the way it registers for us. So we can hear a specific word or a phrase or an idea, interpret it this way, but they meant it some other completely different way. But we're never even going to know that, because that conversation isn't going to come up, because we don't even know what we've correctly understood. We simply understand things however we understand them, right? And this is a pretty part of the problem with the Gospels, the Gospel accounts, for example, because you had people repeating their understanding of a story.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me, bro. You can hang out over there if you want, bro. You put in plenty of time over here. I'm honestly...
So it's gradually going to change over time.
Honestly, right now, guys, I'm just going to be revising the Avida-ED introduction video probably till 5. I am probably going to reshoot it right now. I'm just going to make a couple of quick edits to it. Then I'm going to review the script, and if I have time before I meet with Rob at 5, I'll reshoot it. And so I'm just trying to knock that out. A lot of you guys have already seen it. However, if you're going to be following along with my class and you haven't, gotten your head around sort of the Avida-ED interface, I think that could be useful. But at the same time, we have the introduction exercise that's sort of in the Discord in our Darwin's Law channel. And all I'll be doing is sort of remaking that video. So if you guys want to go head over to James's channel and hang out and just, be in that chat or whatever, the rest of the time, like that'll be fine because I'm gonna just do that till 5. If you want to hang out here, that's or lurk, that's you're more than welcome to. And then I'm gonna end the stream actually at 5. And then after my meeting, I'll come back and start another one later on. And even then, I'll mostly just be having fun because it's Monday, and I try not to do such stuff that's super important on Monday. So if James or somebody else is getting into something that you actually want to listen to or check out, like that's totally fine because I ain't going to be doing nothing but bullshitting anyway. So no, they weren't following what Chris was saying. And then you two dropped the link that Kyle guy debating T-Jump. Oh, like right now, yeah. That's rough. Yeah. It's a rough balance. Sometimes people don't realize, like, it's just got to be careful about stuff like that, especially if it's live. Like, I always feel bad about. There is kind of an asymmetry. If I go into a chat of a stream, and I notice James is live, I'm gonna drop that probably in a big chat because it's a big stream, and we're out here trying to support our friends and stuff. So I'm pretty much willing to drop links for my friends anywhere. But if I'm watching a smaller streamer, I'm probably not gonna drop a link to something bigger going on in their channel. Unless it comes up or something related to it or that person is mentioned. But unless that's the case, I'm probably just not even gonna go there. So, but it's no right or wrong answer there. Some people like for their chats to be used as places for people to keep up on that things. It just depends on the streamer. But yeah, also I tend to just not care. I think me and James are both people that are not personally invested in a lot of the content that's going on out here. So that's the other reason sometimes I find, because it's like somebody's dropping something that's already getting a lot more attention than your content on your channel. And then like, I don't even care about that thing, so, like I don't mind when people come through and remind me that James is streaming, but if people started coming through all the time, with other people, it just depends. It just totally, I guess, depends, to be honest with you. It's probably all very circumstantial how people feel about these things, to be honest. Hate to disappoint those of you that demand internal consistency and all of that shit.
I stopped taking it personal, right? So now it doesn't really make me angry when I hear from these people. But
James usually never minds.
I feel bad for them, right? Like,
but this time it sucked because his topic got derailed. Yeah, that's the thing. That's more my thing too, right? Is that you're really, and this is sort of just a basic thing. Like I think sometimes we get so in the weeds in our community and we don't remember the basic stuff. It's like, at a very basic level, a content creator is presenting something that they are interested in or wanting to talk about or wanting to discuss. And really the purpose of the live chat is to encourage that content creator, by adding value to what they're doing. And so I'm always conscientious of like just that. When you derail a conversation in any way, be it with a link, be it with a comment, all of that stuff, it just sort of, man, now that I know what it's like to make that kind of content and to put that kind of effort into it, you're just like, wow, because, like I know I feel like that way when I'm with Cliff or something, or presenting my stuff about my class, or Rob, you're like, you work really hard to get people interested and invested in that stuff and wanting to talk about it. And then you're finally doing it and you're making the show and you're talking about it. And then people want to come in here and like blow it up with side chats. So yeah, that definitely frustrates me from that perspective. And that's even from a production perspective, right? You guys know I'm big into production. So I'm sitting back as a producer thinking like, oh man, it's really cool when our chat's super interactive. It's really cool, especially because we've got it on the screen and we've got the bots and we try to do all this stuff to really, really, really encourage people to be active in the chat. But there's a bit of a tension when it gets like, not quite with with the topic. The other thing is I feel like we miss an opportunity to take advantage of spaces that we're trying to create in the community that are for that. Like, so even to give credit to like No Name was one of the people even early on who was like, recognizing the value of like, we're all trying to jump from stream to stream and hang together and do the bar hopping thing. James is himself really big on that. And so we've tried to create spaces like the Discord and the Gather and all of this stuff to really amplify that type of vibe. And so you want to see people use the spaces that are better for that, rather than, somebody's live stream, or at least do both. Like if you're gonna, I would say, if you're gonna drop a link to some other stream on the live chat, then go drop it in the Discord, so that everybody there can see it. So yeah, I don't know. These are just all my thoughts, but again, I'm just rambling about what I'm thinking right now in the moment. I could say something that sounds totally different if I'm feeling a certain type of way. 10 minutes from now, I'm sure. My bipolar ass for sure. I guess that's one of the reasons I don't demand a lot of internal consistency from myself, because I know I'm bipolar as shit. So I know a mood swing will just, totally changes how you feel, right? Just totally changes how you feel about things. So I'm kind of, I guess, a bit pliable and understanding of other people's intellectual flexibility, because I know just how dramatically even something as simple as mood affects what we're willing to go along with and not.
Which one are you going to talk about next, right? So you got to kind of prioritize. So I completely get that. I'm not faulting you at all for that. It's a work, it's a special kind of skill set to be able to filter our thoughts and prioritize them. And
yeah, it wasn't the link. It was that we had no idea what he was talking about. I got you.
Pocket Locker is really good at that. Like he can just.
I gotta heard my name
because he spent, and part of that I'm sure is because he spent the last 10 years in a structured educational system where he was constantly refining his thought processes, refining how he shares his thought processes, and so when he segues from one topic to another, it's very intentional, it's very natural. But I didn't spend the last decade in that structure, and so I don't have the same benefit of that. And, so that I have to struggle with these things that come naturally to Jay. It's part of what makes Jay such a great producer and such a great entertainer online, because he can talk about this shit and not run into that same problem. He knows exactly what he wants to say next, exactly how he wants to say it, and it's all a natural segue, all of it. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much of a skill set that is. It's something that you had to spend years training your brain to do.
Yeah,
and I still struggle with it today. So
that's one of the reasons why
I appreciate that. It's very insightful commentary from James.
I haven't had my sergeant's test with the.
It's something I noticed about my dad. Like, the more I do this, I've always said about my dad is a great fucking broadcaster. And, you never want to give your pops that much credit, but when you understand their work and then you see how great they are, I'm like, God damn, my dad can broadcast his ass off.
Everybody that's, falls out, and that's one of the things that I've been quoted multiple times cited multiple times, that whenever I'm within a group, I am I'm not the top dog. I'm not the top dog. I am basically the middleman, and also the one that takes care of the people that are gonna fall off. And that's one of something that I pride myself in, even if I do have a permanent disability. But and I also and I also get a good sense of how the group is going. If there are issues, can I solve them? Yes or no? Or if there's a emergency, like this needs to get to attention, I'll take up to those that are in charge, profusely, and I'll just but I am not comfortable with being the figurehead or whatever, because what happens is that I'm gonna burn myself out and just not be motivated enough to carry the whole thing, and and that's one of the things that I probably need to work on, but I don't see how, or I have a difficulty on how to do that, because like I said, I'm somebody that's just in the middle tier of leadership. And
I understand. That makes sense to me. So I've got my own struggles that a lot of people don't know about. I'm having trouble with my blood pressure and heart rates these days. And so my blood pressure jumps way up and then it falls way down. It jumps way up and it falls way down. And the doctors don't know why. And so when I'm in the middle of a stream, whether on somebody else's channel or my own, it'll come out of nowhere. All of a sudden I'll be incredibly dizzy. The room is spinning and I'm lightheaded and I've got this weird vacuum pressure feeling in my head that I can't explain, and I'm having a hard time.
Oh, thanks, Lena. I appreciate that. I appreciate the comments, chat. Really, thank you.
I don't have a heart problem. They can't figure out what's doing it. Yeah, Lena, I'll drop a link right here. So a lot of people don't know this about me because nobody, right? Because I never talked about it in the community before. So it happened just a few minutes ago.
I wouldn't have even known James was streaming today if Cameron didn't let me know. And obviously I want to know when James is streaming. I want to know when Myth Vision is streaming. I'm not even on the same page as Doug with this community approach, but I still like to know when Doug is streaming.
Or a lot of other people and their ability to just stay topic. So to an extent, I can relate to that, right? I can relate to that struggle. It's a skill set like any other. We got to practice it. But that's why this is why I love doing shows with Jay, because Jay likes to talk. I'm sure we've all noticed that Jay loves to talk, and that's really great for me, because if I have this moment on Jay's channel where the room starts spinning and my heart rate shoots up to twice the normal or drops down or whatever, and I'm all lightheaded and stuff, all I have to do is stop talking, and Jay immediately picks up with it and keeps going. And then when I start feeling better and the room stops spinning, I can look for another thing, and then I can start talking again. And it's seamless that way. But if I have somebody on my show and just like me, they're having a hard time establishing their train of thought and putting and creating a smooth segue and staying on topic, if I'm having trouble because the room is spinning and they're having trouble because they've got a different kind of disability, now we've got two people on the stream that can't remember what they're supposed to be talking about. The room's we're lost. We have no idea what's happening, right? So this is really why I love doing shows with Jay, because he can pick it up real quick for me. Hi, Lena. It's
carrying. It's like a wrestling match. I'll talk about this in a bit.
I just got fired from my job, but I'm doing better.
Holy shit.
Well, I definitely deserved it. I wasn't doing any work, so I actually got the past 3 shifts paid without doing anything. So they took their sweet time with it. I'm grateful.
I think now the modern term for that is called quiet quitting, where you technically quit before you quit.
The actual quiet quitting, not the one advertised on CNN about how you just do your job and not extra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, ironically,
man, Lena's crazy sharp, yo.
Ironically, James,
all right, these need to be switched, so let's try to do that.
Bounce off what I'm saying most of the time, and I'm grateful for that, because it's very, very, very not exactly rare, but it's just a lot of people are like, when I talk.
Oh, okay.
Sure, there's there's a lot of times where other people don't understand where you're going with the point, but I do. And that was a big trouble on Rebecca's streams because people would be like, I don't know what Chris is on about. But I knew exactly what you were trying to say, but I couldn't get a word in edgewise because other people kept interrupting you. And so I couldn't create that bridge for you for communication. And I felt frustrated about that because I know exactly what Chris is trying to say, but I don't get a chance to tell anybody, right? So it works out. It works out better on my channel. And the same thing with Lena. Lena had that one time where she wasn't. All
right, let's lock this up.
With the fascism thing, but not because I knew exactly where Lena was going with that, and I knew I could help with that. But people kept interrupting. Danny, for example, kept trying to make fascism into a strictly economic proposition, which it's not. It's not. Like, I've never even heard anybody before claim that it is. And Danny knows better. Danny knows that fascism is more complex than that. And that it's not. You can even talk about it outside the context of economics.
Because
I don't want to build this session up like this.
I have no idea why. Yeah, I have no idea why Danny thought to go in that direction, like to completely.
I'm trying to get a conversation with Danny, just kind of like do an introductory interview, kind of get where he's coming from. I don't really know.
Danny. Oh yeah, I've got to unlock all the softwares too.
That's right. So Danny's one of those people you love him or you hate him. I love him, but
me too.
Yeah, I think he's great, and but if I've said as much on Speed's channel, and that did not go over well. There are some people on Speed's channel that do not like Danny because they've had friction. Answers in Atheism.
Yeah, he was just on there, right? And he Answers in Atheism called him a weenie.
Yeah, so there's one or two people in there that apparently and that's not hard to do, right? We all have these different ways that we communicate, different personalities.
Yes,
it's not hard to rub people the wrong way. I've done it, right?
I do.
Everybody here, I think, at some moment or another, has probably left some saying, "I'm out," like I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Exactly. Even to my friends,
it's
and they've done the same to me.
Thing.
Yeah,
you can't
absolutely.
Be careful enough to make everybody happy.
You just can't.
And
absolutely.
Sometimes we just rub people the wrong way. So
you got to live with it.
I like Danny, but there's some people that if they don't like him and they don't want me talking about him, they just tell me to shut up, quit saying nice things about Danny. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. And it's like Leo. Like Leo is absolutely brilliant, but every once in a while,
it's just abrasive. Yes.
Way, and there's that clash there, and I try to stay out of it because I don't want to take sides.
Yeah.
Especially with strong personalities, when somebody's just had a strong, forceful, determined, and well-established person. Then that's when they really enter the whole domain of you love them or you hate them, right? You love them or you hate them, and that's just the way.
Which is hard because that's what we need. We need more assertive members, at least on the left, I would say. And he did a great job. I don't know if anyone else caught his stream last night. Where was he on? They were talking about capitalism and sort of some of Marx's analyses and criticisms, and he was getting all sorts of pushback. They couldn't even give him a definition of value, right? He was using a pretty normative definition under I forgot which acronym he used, but socialism, basically, that how we define within capitalism, analyzing how capitalism works. This is what we define as value. And then the opposition just couldn't provide their own definition, and they were arguing semantics, right? And they're trying to explain how, like, land has value, and being a middleman, being a salesperson is valuable. And it's like not under any actual definition, right? And any attempt they try to give a coherent definition of what value is, they just couldn't do it. And it was frustrating because Leo was spot on, and he was giving great response to really point out how they were just
you're starting to cut out, Lena, hun.
What?
Lena, you're cutting out a lot.
My internet.
Yeah. Melina's cutting out.
You're all mute.
All right, you know what? Let me just see what's going on here in my edit.
I don't want to ignore you. I like it when you talk.
All right, so I think I just need to duplicate this. So I'm just annoyed about the selection or cancel. Sorry, that's not duplicate. God damn it.
So here's the thing. Like, while Lena's trying to hopefully get their internet.
And let me go 6, and let me label this.
Discussions when I feel like people aren't being reasonable. I like to intentionally sabotage those discussions.
Yeah,
I'd like to sabotage economic discussions with presuppositionalist economic apologetics, because then I'll be like, look, you guys do not have an objective basis for your economic values if you don't believe in the king of the leprechauns. Because gold is the foundation of our economic system, and you've got no way to be able to assign an objective value to gold unless you accept that the king of the leprechauns is real, right? And that's why my theories are superior to yours, because I first assume the king of the leprechauns is real. That gives me a rational basis for deciding the value of gold, which then gives me a rational foundation upon which to proceed with economic theory, which is, of course, fact because I'm the one saying it. And so, you know, that safe. I think
you don't necessarily have to do that. But what I do is to make sure it doesn't select the wrong track. I pretty much lock stuff. I like to lock stuff in place, especially if I'm not working on it. Wait, that unlocked it. Yeah, lock it. I like to keep all the tracks locked, and then I keep the auto selectors turned off. That way, when I put something somewhere, it doesn't put it in the wrong track, which sometimes happens. It gets kind of annoying. So,
yeah, sorry, the American dream.
I should set up templates. I think there are templates I'll be able to set up eventually, so that will already be kind of done when I add a new track. I just got to get into that. I'm sure I will as I get into the more creative stuff I'll be needing to do in Resolve soon.
Well, I'm talking about the worship of millionaires, billionaires, all that stuff with the economic promise of
all right, so here's the bottom.
Thanks, Joel.
Boom.
Yeah,
easy
sure.
peasy.
The American dream is a scam, and I think by now we kind of all know that it's a scam, right?
Yeah, well, I
have it muted. I don't need to hear it.
Absolutely.
Come listen to James.
It's just like it also makes like I really hate talking about this, but my
leprechauns
father
looks great.
Is basically, as an immigrant, is always talking about money. How money is basically just like how to do it, how to invest in it.
I saw it there at the end.
Blah 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 and blah blah blah. And for me, it's not that I know that I was
almost looks like a Mr. Frame.
Financial security, while when he was a kid experienced a economic crash and famine.
All right, there. It wasn't quite to the blocks.
And sorry, am I interrupting something?
Try it again.
No, anyway, keep going.
That looks better.
And
save it.
And he basically is realist. He's a realist with how the system works, but he's always pushing to think how to make the next, how to make the next buck.
Looks great. Okay, very happy with that.
Well, I don't know if it's like what you would translate you as the leprechaun, but he likes money.
35. All right, cool. So that's that. And then we gotta add the text back, but in the correct places, which is titles.
That I'm not really interested in.
We just did this
but it's like the only topic that he wants to.
Yeah, that must be frustrating. I know people like thought. Yeah, they're a one topic kind of person.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, he is very knowledgeable in a lot of things, but primarily he just wants to talk about how to make money and how to basically upend this, not upend, but cheat the system and stuff like that to make more money. And for me, it's just exhausting, because for me, like you can obviously tell, I'm a social sciences guy basically, and anything else that's science, anything that's science,
right.
I
So
basically geek out and nerd out. Sorry.
I feel you on that. Now, Lena dropped a link, but I just checked. It's 3 hours long, so I have no idea where to jump in those 3 hours to like share something that we're gonna like want to chew on or laugh about.
The comment section.
In the comment section, Lena linked a link to a debate last night, I guess, between Atheist Jr. and Mark Reed. Now, here's the thing. I don't even know who Atheist Jr. is. I guess I'm supposed to. Mark Reed, I see him in our community sometimes, so I know him. Not like really well, but I know him, right? But Atheist Jr., I have no idea. Yeah, Mark Reed's cool. I don't have any opinion about Atheist Jr. I've never watched him, never listened to him.
Yeah, I think Mark Reed's a nice guy.
Atheist Jr. does not like Jay, so yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know who that is. I mean, the name sounds good. It's got Atheist in the name. I already like that, but yeah.
Atheist Jr. doesn't like me?
It's kind of like Darth Dawkins. Like everybody owns.
I'm sorry, Lena.
Dawkins. And I'm gonna tell you, even though I've been in this community for a long time, I don't think I've ever seen anything from Darth Dawkins. Like I've never watched him talk to anybody about anything. I'm told he's an asshole.
Darth Dawkins, I don't know. So
but people talk about him.
It's
now,
like,
so I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like even if I'm from the Four Horsemen era, like ascendancy of the Four Horsemen, I am not really into the whole politicking.
And I guess I'm subbed.
The society of community of atheists or the early days. Like the best quote unquote OGs I could get is Aaron Ra, Holy Kool-Aid, Cosmic.
So I think I've seen this.
I love to talk about these people more because Holy Kool-Aid.
But I guess maybe he's popped up somewhere else and talked about me.
Like the guy, like he just seems like somebody I want to go on tour with. Like he went to Israel, I think this last year, and looked around and met people and stuff. And so did Drew, honestly, from Genetic.
I guess he's just a Hoven hater, is what it looks like. So that makes sense to me. If he's a Hoven hater,
people in our community, in the atheist community,
a lot of Hoven haters don't like me, especially atheist Hoven haters.
Want to hang out with them, right? Matt Dillahunty's one of them. Like I love some of the things that he's done. Some of his mic drops have been excellent. I still quote them to this day, but I would not want to hang out with Matt Dillahunty. He's just too edgy and too aggressive and too easy to trigger and too overreactionary. And maybe that's
and then I guess he probably goes at John Maddox, LPP.
I get the feeling that he kind of probably is, and I just don't want to deal with that. It's just not the groove that I'm in. Even though I love the things he says, I don't want to deal with that. And there's a lot of other people. There's some people I really.
But I don't know. I thought we checked out some of his stuff when I was preparing for Kent Hovind. There was some stuff I stayed away from that was about Kent Hovind's personal life. But that's interesting.
Nothing against SJWs. I generally speaking agree with the same values as SJWs.
Yeah, if he's gonna say he thinks Matt Powell needs to be banned for hate speech, and then you guys know Matt Powell and Kent Hovind's camp thing. Now I'm like the atheist evolutionary biologist that Matt Powell likes, right? So now Matt Powell and Kent Hovind will be telling people that they like me. So yeah, it's got to be rubbing people the wrong way. That's funny. I get along
better with conservatives in person than I do with liberals.
Interesting.
Even though
anyway, it looks like my link worked, so that's important.
Because
you know what?
I don't have to be that damn careful.
Right.
You know what? Even though
why
I
is
am
this thing so huge?
Pro LGBT,
I guess I should have just made it a title.
I don't really like to hang out with them, or at least to associate myself with. And that's because I know the inner politicking of who's writing, you know, the SJW types, and also that basically the exclusionary stuff that's been going on, and I just like it's not something that I am also like. There's also like a lot of other stuff that you know.
You just don't vibe with it, right? You don't vibe with it, really. Even when you agree with it, right? I don't vibe with it either. Even when I agree with them, I don't vibe with it. Like I will, like when I finally get back into the dating market someday, my old rules still apply. I will not date an SJW. We can be friends, and you know, maybe with benefits. Call me.
Yeah.
But I will not seriously date an SJW. I just won't do it.
Wow.
And there's a couple of SJWs that are popular in our network, and I love them. Like I love their character. I love their values. I respect who they are in our community. But if I had an opportunity to date them, I would not. I just wouldn't do it. Even though some of them are out of my league, I still wouldn't do it.
Same thing with what I was saying with the LGBT community.
I guess I'll just deal with
is
this right
that
now.
I respect them and their choices. Well, for me, everything is a choice, but it's basically due to agency. But that's just me.
Sure.
Anyway.
I mean, I get
anyway.
That. Oh,
like
Logan says
I'm not going to go into the Born This Way. It's a choice debate. But yeah.
Sure, I appreciate that. So Logan Fisher says, I wouldn't date Matt Dillahunty. Well, there's something we have in common, Logan. I wouldn't date him either. Lena says, at 1 minute and 20 seconds is a good spot to hop in for a few minutes just to see the disagreement I was annoyed with on that link. And you know what? I'm for that. Let's check that out real quick.
All right, let's go down inside.
I guess this is about the economic debate, Lena. Is that what this is going to be about? Or should they pick Jay apart? Here's the thing. Like, I'm a little bit jealous because everybody in this community, once they get like recognized, they get picked apart by somebody. Somebody trashes on them.
Yeah, who's
and nobody has trashed on me yet. And I kind of feel left out. Like, I need some haters, damn it. I need some proper haters.
I feel you,
guys
James.
need to get me some. Somebody that can like make a thread about flaming me. Like, that James is awful and here's why. I need that.
Well,
I'll get Rebecca on it.
Well,
get Rebecca on that. There you go. That'll happen.
Well,
all right, wait. So where's the?
I can say.
Oh, you sent me some. You sent me some clips.
You've been
cool beans.
Increase of people on your subscription. That's our subscribe team.
Yes, James. Yeah, but he's not paying attention to it. But that's good.
Being slow is not. It's
not bad. It's not a bad thing.
It's that you grow your channel. You'll go and grow your channel slowly, and that's
right. And I'm content with that.
Yeah,
because I don't mind. Because I'm not trying to like build up to monetization at all.
Right.
It's not what I want to do for a job.
Right.
I just want to be
there you
part
go.
of
there it is.
The network.
Not my job.
Right? And
not how I make a paycheck.
Other people.
Nor is that the ambition. Hey, I want to send me some money. Go for it. Connect for it.
And like I just like the Cheers bar thing. That's what I'm after.
Boom. There it is.
Trying to figure out how to help facilitate that interest. I don't give a damn about how many people we get. Because I think it's possible to get too big. Like I've seen channels that are too big, and the chat just flies by. Right?
Yeah, you
and
can.
Everybody's competing for the chance to be heard and seen, and they can't because by the time they've said it's already
that's why we got our smaller spaces. That's what we're ready for, y'all.
We don't need that many people.
That's what we're ready for, right? It's like okay, cool. The channel, the live stream gets too big. Cool. Our friends and the cool people are in our Discord. Cool. Discord is a ton of people in our Discord. Cool. Our gather's limited. Invite only.
Joel says,
you literally have to be friends.
Not a bad guy.
I'll always have a place to just hang out with my friends. And if 10,000 people, if the stream is too big,
spams chat.
We don't give a fuck.
So
we don't give a
fuck. Anybody tear Jay apart yet? I guess we're gonna look at that. Is that what this video?
Cool. Is that what this is?
But nobody ever tears apart me, and I just feel like that makes me
who's
feel
tearing
like
me apart?
And I've really tried, guys. Like I really tried to shit in everybody's cornflakes,
this
right?
was their.
And people are just like,
this was recently.
Rebecca has torn torn up Jay and you. It's
right.
just
She has.
Oh,
She has.
Rebecca
Like,
has.
I was kind of
Oh, he
hoping that
hates
like
me.
some of her fan base would make a channel or at least a stream once a month.
A channel,
right?
yeah.
Like the Hated Atheist.
Yeah, give me like a.
And, like I just never get that attention.
I need like a complete
Jealous
J counter.
Where's my haters at, man?
Where's my haters?
But it's because at least in Rebecca is that she goes by the passive
Where my haters at?
Tactics.
Yeah, she plays clever. Yeah.
And
I gotta save this to my playlist.
At least for me, it kind of, I see this as disingenuous and weak. For me, it's either you put it on my face or you don't. But
I want a T-shirt that says that, guys. Either you put it on my face or you don't. I want that as a T-shirt. I'm just saying, maybe even a bumper sticker.
Why can't I move this damn thing more than like?
So, if anybody can make that for me, I'd really appreciate it. I'll pay what it costs. Just let me know when you can get.
Boom! But now I need you to go down, but not in that crazy way. Like what the hell?
Okay, I'll ask for royalties then. Probably.
Appreciate it. So I'm gonna jump over here to this. I hope I have the right one, Lena.
It's the
where
one.
It's Atheist Junior and Mark Reed. At 1 minute
like around
120
120. Yeah, try that.
So I'm gonna try that.
Boom! Let's listen to. Let's see this.
I do. Go ahead and. Do I want chat to show or do I not want chat to show? I have no idea.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's valuable. Its value may be incredibly low because there is no demand for your hole. If somebody then if you find something down that hole, it's then somebody says, "Hey, there's gold."
Wait, is he talking about people who don't have a lot of demand for their hole? Because
That's
this
what I'm
is
hearing.
a much juicier conversation than I thought it was going to be. Like, we need to talk about
All right.
that.
Also, hang on.
Being a theory's trap.
their holes. Then that hole becomes valuable.
All right.
That hole becomes valuable.
This isn't really helping me understand what value is supposed.
Just gets better and better. Hi, Jay.
Hey, I gotta piss real quick, but I'm gonna put the speakers on. I might as well. I haven't heard of any of this. I saved the link, so go ahead, play it real quick. I got a meeting to get to in a little bit, but I'm gonna chill here for a little bit and I'll listen to it with you guys. Thanks for letting me pop on. But yeah, where my haters at? Go ahead, Chris.
Right.
It could be later, but I have a question for you. Just
Oh yeah, anytime, Chris. But yeah, I gotta go pee real quick. I'll be right back. Go ahead, you can play it. Thanks, James.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So, Nerdy Rodent says, demands for my hole? Blushes.
I'll be right back, y'all.
Tux is like, score.
And hold on to that question.
We're on the same.
He'll
We're on the
back.
same page. All right. So with that in
so
mind,
you want me to know what I'm
something? Would you give up a whole day?
What's that, Chris?
You said you had a question for Jay. I was just saying, hold on to it. He'll be back.
Yeah, hold on to that question, Jay, or private message him. That'll be fine. He'll be back anyway.
Labor would you give up? What in your savings would you give up for that?
Pause real quick.
Well, that just seems to be like a broader philosophy. Yeah, but
so just so everyone knows, we're trying to define value, and what Leo has given as the definition, which would probably be worth going back, so I don't butcher it. But I believe what he said was oh gosh, I'm gonna say it wrong. I don't want to say it wrong. But it's important to get where he's coming from and why they're disagreeing over definitions.
Fair enough. Now, before we get into this, my initial thoughts, and I could be way off base with where they're going to go on this, is that there's provider side value and then there's receiver side value or purchaser side value. So when a provider sets a value for something, they have a baseline of, I've got to charge more for this than it cost me, right? That's whether it's a penny more or $1 million more, I got to start at that line. It's got to be above that. So then that is an objective foundation for where they're going to work from. Beyond that, they're looking at the market to say, how much is this worth to other people? And they're guessing, right? They're guessing, and they're more worried about how much it's worth to other people in terms of purchase, in terms of sales, right? Like, if you have 1,000 really poor people who think this is only worth $50, but if you have one really rich people that thinks this is worth $1 million, then that's what you're going to set the value at, right? It's about maximizing your own profit. So there's where you try to decide it, but normally it doesn't work that way. Normally, most people in a given on the buyer side of the market will be looking at this as something equatable. Like there's a general range of values that aren't too broad in terms of what people think. Okay, go ahead.
Is that synonymous with price?
So price reflects a guess on behalf of the seller about what people are going to value it at. This is what I think people will value this gallon of whatever or this box of whatever at. I think this is what people are willing to pay for it. And then based on whatever information they gather, sometimes it's just intuition, sometimes it's whatever it's worth to them. But most of the time, these well-established businesses, again, they start as a baseline as how much did I have to pay for this in order to be able to sell it to anybody else.
So is value itself an intuition or a guess?
It can be. There's no set formula for value. This is what makes the market so crazy. Any given person can say, you know what, I bet I can charge $1,000 for this. And they could be way wrong, right?
Yeah.
But they could just feel like, they could just picture it in their head and think, I'll bet people will pay $1,000 for this. And somebody else has got the exact same kind of product, and they're thinking, okay, I need to do a market analysis on this, right? Maybe they'll hire some people to do the analysis for them. Maybe they'll do it for themselves and look at, like, do a price history on similar products.
Right.
And
I guess
okay.
my question is that definition of value useful for analyzing capitalism and capitalist functions and underlying principles? Is that a useful definition for leveling criticism or just in general analyzing capitalism as a system?
It's impossible to create a formula. We just can't do an objective formula where we just plug numbers in terms of what value is in the economy for most products. Whether it's
it might not ever be that we might not get that empirical with it, but the reason why we want a definition of value that's objective, at least as much as we can get it, and the reason why we want it is we want to be able to use that definition to analyze capitalism and to be able to make criticisms of it. Or not, or to be able to defend against criticism of it. But the reason why they're arguing semantics is because Leo's definition, which is how Marx defined it, which is the socially necessary abstract labor required for the production of a commodity. Which again, that's not an empirical, mathematical definition, but it is at least more objective than what definition we were just provided. I don't know if you want to play back again. You don't have to listen to the example.
I thought we were here to talk about me. What?
I thought so too. I thought we were.
I thought that's what we were here to do. I'm me. I'm like Gossip Girls. I literally was on to some bullshit. I'm over here working on some Avida-ED, some evolutionary biology, blase, and the flavonoids, and y'all know I ain't even that type of biology nurse. I'm over here trying to get paid, and then I'm like, oh, my man James is talking about me right now, and then people keep telling me this atheist junior guy doesn't like me, so I'm like, all right, let's go over there and give James the exclusive interview, James. I'm going to hear it and react to it for the first time. Although Cameron sent me the clip. You want me to say, Cameron sent me a clip, and there was a couple clips, but...
Yeah, we can, if you want to...
It wasn't the link I put, but I thought someone shared a link.
So Lena, you don't know exactly where it was.
That wasn't me. I don't have the haters. Sorry.
Let me see if I can. All right, give me a sec to pull it up over here, so that I could see. I don't even know if I can. Like if I copy it, if it'll let me. Let me see how to copy it from out of here. I haven't tried to do this before.
Okay, well, I do have my questions for you, Jay.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I thought, I know that we've discussed, this on your channel about, the racism and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I've basically been simmering it, and I'm not sure exactly if I can word it specifically so you could understand, but I'm gonna try anyway.
Sure.
The thing about me not being to consider myself black and stuff like that, and also your other hosts. Sorry, I'm not really good with names.
Yeah.
And with I understand the experience and all that stuff, so I'm just gonna go straight to it.
Jay, how does that work? If Chris doesn't consider himself black, does that mean there's an opening and I can take it?
I think what it means is just, and I feel this way about a lot of identity things. So number one, I'm weird to a lot of people. It's probably why a lot of people really don't like me, because I just don't hold to any sort of convention. So I don't really care about other people's definitions of stuff, right? And so even I keep telling people, part of the reason I became a biologist, it's not the reason, but the beauty of it is I don't have to agree with other biologists. I just don't. So even people will tell me the biological definition of sex is, your chromosomes, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll just go, wrong. Why? I just, as a biologist, don't agree with that definition. That doesn't mean a person isn't correctly relaying to me information about what the biology textbook says. It's just that I just have my own reasons to not particularly go along with that, right? I also happen to be an anthropologist, right? And as an anthropologist and also having experience in politics and social spheres, I think when you're talking about human effing beings, part of what is their biology is their behavior and how they see themselves. That's part. And so part of what it means to be quote unquote male to me when you're talking about effing people is seeing yourself as male. So to me, if you don't see yourself as male, and again, Jimmy Snow put it a certain way that made me think about it. He just said because he sees himself as kind of cis, but not necessarily on the spectrum and stuff like that, right? And he said part of it is I just realized I'm a dude. I want to wake up and do dude stuff, right? My dog, Sam's a dude. He wants to mark his territory everywhere, piss on the same fucking tree 4 times in 5 minutes. And, when I have female dogs, they just are not interested in any of that, right? And so that's part of it to me. I think there's a very reasonable, biologically sound case based in behavior to say if a thing doesn't see itself as male or demonstrate the volitionary, what we might call voluntary male-like behavior, if you just leave a fucking thing alone and watch it and it don't do male-like shit, probably not, then maybe we just need to, change the definition of male, especially when it comes to people and certain types of animals that have complex shit like we do, and maybe eventually that definition will change. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. And I feel very much the same way about black. I made jokes about this because when I grew up, this was a big deal with Tiger Woods. The only reason I pick on Chris is because I know Chris is my friend and I'm just messing with him. But real talk, I don't see Chris as black because, again, just like Tiger Woods, he would tell people, yeah, I'm half black, I'm half this. I didn't really have the typical black experience. I don't really, see my, and people lost their fucking minds. And most real people just cool. It just didn't matter because we were just recognizing, if that's not how he sees himself, he's just honoring what he says, and he's trying not to claim something that he's not a part of. And I actually respect that because a lot of people would just say, well, I have brown skin or I'm dark enough to pass as black, and so then they'll try to get down with it. And then a lot of times, so Chris can't win in this situation. If he tells people he doesn't identify as black, they'll be like, oh, you think you're better, blah, 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 right? But if he says, I identify as black, and then they find out he's Canadian, and his parents look different, and he's not from the hood, and he didn't really grow up with the experience of being scared of the police and all of that, they'll be like, wait, then, well, you ain't really black, right? So it kind of sucks. So I'm glad you've been thinking about it, and I certainly hope I didn't say anything hurtful to you. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear what you're thinking about that. And James, just to answer your question to me, I'm not playing by the rules, right? Everybody's going to tell you that what I say the rule is wrong. But my rule is, if you don't see yourself as a black person, you are not, black to me, because part of that is you just got to see yourself that way, right? There were times in my life where I didn't identify as that black because I was the only black kid in an all-white school in a mostly white area. Like, my just experience, and every time I was with black people, which was unfortunately mostly black people in my family, like my step-siblings and my cousins who grew up in urban environments, they didn't do anything other than constantly remind me I wasn't black. And then what was I getting not only in them white schools? I wasn't just the all-black kid in all-white schools, since I was just trying to be a normal person, and that was genuinely my influences, right? So I was into country music and the Dave Matthews Band and wore cowboy boots, and I didn't own a pair of jeans, right? I was really preppy growing up. I did not own a pair of jeans. So even all my all-white friends were always telling me that I'm not black, that I was the whitest person they knew. Remember, they all listen to hip-hop. I might rap now, but they all listen to hip-hop. I was in jazz band. I ain't listen to fucking rap music, right? Yeah. So I was constantly being told by my black family that I was not black, by all my white peers that I was not black. Now, as a grown-ass man in America whose family's from Jersey and all that shit, I would never say to y'all that I don't see myself as a black man. But again, I've been put in that same situation where you can't win. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, for me, it's basically because a result is that I am mixed, and also that my extended family is mixed. There wasn't an argument of, even though the baseline is French Canadian Caucasian, like the baseline of what goes us everything together is French Canadian Caucasian. But my question to that was about the comment about one drop rule, and if you kind of believed it.
Oh, sure.
And the follow-up question was, do you think that believing / enforcing the one drop rule makes you part of the problem of the tribalism that is plaguing the United States of America?
Oh yeah, I don't subscribe to that rule at all. And matter of fact, I think anybody who does is, beyond problematic, because they're not recognizing that whole thing was really, how do I say this? It's something that we have to acknowledge now in historical context. It wasn't really about your blood, right? Number one, it was before, what were they doing? Walking around giving everybody blood tests before they treated them racially or lynched them? No, of course not. And even then, when they said it was a one-drop rule, how did they make that determination? And again, it was visual, right? So it was really still about using the same phenotypic markers, right? And then on top of that, think about what we know now about everybody's genetics. If it was a one-drop rule, I hate to say it, ain't none of y'all in the audience white. None of you. Everybody in the audience is a nigger. Congratulations, everybody in the audience. You can now use the N-word. Sorry, we lied. Y'all can all use the N-word, right? Because if it's a one-drop rule,
we're all black.
You're all black.
We're going by that.
You're all black. Oh, and I got better news for you. Ain't such thing as a person who's not black at the end of the day, because the whole species is African. The whole species, the whole human tree, as far as we know, from Africa. That means everybody African. So if you talking about some one drop rule, you were just at this point, to me, a flat earther. Basically, it's just a nonsensical idea of a nonsensical idea, and it just reflects that a person has no clue what they're talking about. So I'm definitely not with that. And yeah, I would agree. Anybody who says that is ridiculous and it's obfuscating the issue, which has always been about skin color and American blacks and the way we've been treated. And also people like you not identifying as black is, to me, productive and helpful because, like I said, you're not trivializing the African American experience by identifying with it when you weren't a part of it, right? Same thing with dark-skinned people. I have dark-skinned scientist colleagues that to you would say, I would say I'm the only black person in my program. And you would look and say, Jay, you weren't even the only black person in your lab. Difference is you're looking at a person in my lab named Nkrumah who's darker skinned than I am, but his family's from the Caribbean. He doesn't identify as black. So you would be wrong. I'm still the only black person, right? He doesn't identify as black. He just dark as shit, but he not. It's a different thing, right? So that's kind of how it was. It was the same thing when I was coming up in school. There was a dark-skinned girl in my class, 2 dark-skinned girls in my class. One was half and half. So everybody treated her differently because everybody knew she was mixed. And everybody knew she was mixed because, again, I went to a school where there's only 50 kids in my class and her parents worked in school. So different. And then on top of that, we had a girl named Ogechi in my class. She was African. She came from a family. There was about 4 or 5. She was like the middle of about 4 or 5 of them. So everybody knew they were African. They all had African as shit names. They didn't identify as African American. They didn't do black people shit. They ate African foods. They celebrated African traditions. And nobody dared to try to treat them like they were like some regular American black people. Would have been totally disrespectful to the African traditions. Her name is Ogechi Ofwebu. Fuck out of here, right? So she's African. You understand what I'm telling you, right? So it's like people got to stop playing, right? So what Chris is trying to tell people, no, there's nuance to here. And yeah, Wayne was joking that a dumbass Southern cop might, still pull a gun out on him and they might treat him like a black person. But he's just saying we currently live in a climate in America that's ignorant of the type of nuance that we're talking. And unfortunately, that type of ignorance makes Chris's life similarly in danger to mine in certain situations because he might be dead before anybody figures out that he's not the type of black person I am or whatever, right?
Like I understand.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of the. Well, for me, it kind of like gets a lot of baggage of people trying to box me into that type of stuff, and it's for me. It's basically it's because I am if I say that I am African American or black, is that I am denying my mother's heritage. I'm denying my cousins.
Yes, that's how I felt about Tiger Woods, right? He was saying my mother is Hawaiian and whatever. Go ahead, Chris.
Which is and also I'm also denying my extended family,
right?
Who's ethnically diverse,
right?
Themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even if you go back, I don't claim to it, but I also have First Nations, Native, if that's the term, but I don't claim I don't claim to a tribe. I don't. Anyway, it's just that I know that I am fundamentally, if you want to do as like the Canadian thing, I am from 3 different peoples. The French, the French Canadians, the Anglo-Canadian, the British Canadians, and also Native. But I also have another, other, ethnic backgrounds.
Yes.
Not family specifically.
Yeah.
But that I consider family. And to me, if I deny this, I am basically killing.
Yes. And I feel like something that's happening here is we have a certain way in America where people roll through and they're so important to them to tell you I'm Italian American or my family's Polish or we're German, right? And, you know, they would be sort of offended if I said, oh, you're all just a bunch of white people to us. You know, we might joke like that, but we know that that's not the case, right? We know, you know, their holidays are different, their customs are different, their religions are different, all of that, right? Why? Because if you know anything about Irish people, they fight in wars like cats and dogs over the difference between being, you know, Catholic or Protestant. So like me, for instance, I went to Notre Dame High School, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania for high school, and it was a very Irish Catholic school. I don't mean everybody that went there was Catholic and Irish. I just mean a lot of the families that went there were Irish Catholics, and it sort of was the flavor of the particular Jesuit culture, right? We were a Jesuit-run school, that there was a lot of Irish Catholic families in, and so although our sort of community was diversifying, there's a lot of non-Catholics, a lot of Italian, a lot of whoever you could find, we were all there, but people knew that. Now, the school I went to when I was in 5th and 6th grade, which has its own different high school in Roseto, Pennsylvania, just literally less than an hour away, is an incredibly Italian Catholic school. It's Jesuit, similar school. People go back and forth between the systems, but when you go up there, the names were different, right? The DeJorios and Gregorios, right? Like literally everybody's family names were different, and you were in this little Italian community, and literally the biggest events, the bazaar, the spaghetti dinner, all of that stuff was done by who, y'all? The Knights of Columbus, right? Because in big Italian communities, Catholic communities, that's who's working in concert with the church and doing all this stuff in the communities. So my life was totally different in all y'all would think about, Jay, what are you talking about? You're just talking about little tiny Catholic schools in the middle of nowhere in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. No. You went to an Irish Catholic school versus an Italian Catholic school. Everything was different, right? And so what we don't get as Americans is that what Chris is talking about is he's talking about nuance that means everything in Canada that doesn't necessarily resonate with us as Americans. But as I understand it, when you're talking about Canadians, you're talking about Canadians of color versus French Canadian versus, families from different regions. There's a lot of history and politics and struggles and stuff that goes on. That's just Canadian history and culture that everybody in Canada knows how serious that stuff is. And in America, we kind of don't get it. And then he has to make sure people understand, no, I'm the jambalaya. I got a little bit of all of that in me, and I'm all of these parts of Canadian. And that genuinely makes me above anything else Canadian. So now you definitely can't try to tell me I'm black, right? Because I'm already holding down all these parts of Canada. So I feel you on that, Chris. Thanks for sharing.
Don't get me wrong. We still have the racism and all that stuff. And even within like the big cities, there's like special quarters and stuff like that. People are going, have that stuff like not gentrified as in it's like the poor, but it's just it's like they like to stick to their own corners. But for me, that grew up in a small town, everybody had to help everybody, and it's like I have a small town.
Sure, yeah.
Whoever you are, you just help.
Right.
Like I remember I'm old enough to remember the snowstorm, 1998.
Yeah.
Where basically we had no power for 2 weeks. My mother and everybody just like helped each other out, seeing if we were okay, and it's like even, and it was just, and it's like I have vivid flashes of what happened. So sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it makes me emotional thinking about how I grew up like that. Go ahead. Yeah, I get it.
but it's like I remember distributing coffee or hot chocolate to everybody around town, and when it's minus 25, and you're freezing your butt off, and you just go to, well, not exactly church, but where church you had somewhat of the electricity a little bit, or you went to local community centers, Legion, and stuff like that. And it's just like you just help out people, no questions asked.
Yeah. So
and even sorry, and even and how I could explain this to even how I'm used to people of different, ethnic backgrounds, races, and all that stuff. One of her best, my mother, was actually a pharmacist, and one of her early and best apprentices was actually Chinese, like immigrated in the 80s due to the Tiananmen Square stuff. And anyway, and they were basically for a long time the only people that in our hometown was majority Caucasian. And like I said, like I knew them. I basically ate with them, and whatever we did, and she helped him go to university and all that stuff. And it's just stuff like that. And my mother always helped anybody that could help. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think that a city is a weird way to live. And so is sort of this like suburban sprawl thing, and the real rich thing. That's the uber rich. That's just crazy. Like if you can't see your neighbors, like you're doing something incredibly rare. So in a way, like I think about these small communities I grew up in, like I was so lucky because they were tight-knit communities. And so even though I had sort of a difficult identity to bear in that tight-knit community, like the one gay kid in my class, like this is a tough place to be gay, right? But it was made a lot easier by the fact that you're just automatically in a tight-knit community. And so even anybody that gives you a hard time or fucks with you, there's just going to be way more people who are on your side because we just take care of each other. And I always say this, when I look back at my class, if I did a high school class reunion and you put all 50 of my classmates together, the truth is we were all friends. You were just more friends with some people than others, right? It's like your family, where you have cousins that you're closer to, and you've gone through periods where you might swing between whether you're closer to mom or dad, this set of grandparents or that set of grandparents, but you're all family, and that's kind of how it was. And I think that that's naturally human, because now that I've got more of a understanding of anthropology, we really value these traditional hunter-gatherer groups that are still with us, that seem to be living a lifestyle more, what we would have considered likely for this super extended periods of like most of our history before the, acceleration brought on by agriculture and whatever. And what is it? It's like, probably 50 to 100 families, maybe no more than 200 at most, right? That live together. And that would be a huge group, right? But mostly if you're traveling and moving across, with you're not in a band of a city, right? It's literally probably 20 to 50 families. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I grew up in going to school in this remote village. I had to travel that, right? But they lived there. And so there's literally probably a couple hundred families in this area. They all go to the same school. It's in everybody's backyard. Then they all send their kids to the same school. They've been going to these schools for 3, sometimes 4 generations. Your parents went to the school. Your grandparents went to the school. Everybody's been going to the same church. The church is in the center of everything. The police department, y'all, no lie, the police department was a 2-car garage. It was a 2-car garage with a little office. Why? Because there's no crime, right? Being a cop is just saying that you want to chill, roll around, and eat donuts.
But technically, it's like if there's something like if somebody in the community has done a crime, somebody's gonna know something.
Yes.
From somebody.
Yeah.
And then it's dealt with.
Right.
Quietly.
Right, quietly, exactly, quietly.
And I know that if like I come, well, for me in my hometown, I came from a prominent family, and I know that technically, if I committed a crime, or even my brothers would have committed a crime, they would just kind of like leave me at the police station, and probably not lock me up. But just like, giving a full 7-hour stuff and got off on community service. That's how it was. I grew up in such a small. It was like I got pulled over one time flying on my way to school. Cop pulled me over. Saw my Notre Dame uniform. He goes, "Oh, you go to Notre Dame?" My cousin Leah McNosey goes, "That's like, oh, I know Leah. She's in band with me, right?" So we started chit chatting. He's like, "Yeah, man, slow down," and he lets me go. And he was like, "Yeah," and he gave me something to make sure I could show that so he made sure I had something to show that I got pulled over, but like didn't get me in trouble. He's like, "Look, I got pulled over so I could make sure I don't get in trouble for being late," right? And I'm like, "I was right," but then I get pulled over. One time we were all sitting in we went to like the local, I don't know, Ruby Tuesday or whatever the fuck it was. We all sit there, order drinks, and we ordered a bunch of like a couple of those like frozen margaritas or whatever. And when you're a kid, normal or underage, and you're in a high school Catholic uniform, everybody knows you're underage, so they, make sure you get like a virgin pina colada or strawberry daiquiri or whatever the fuck it is, right? So I order a strawberry daiquiri. The server comes over and goes, "You want the one with alcohol, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Knowing damn well I'm gonna leave this and drive, right? But it's that small. Where I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna go? What? I just got my license. I have one strawberry daiquiri. What? I'm gonna fucking kill somebody? Yeah. Like, it just, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cared, right? And now we're in this hypersensitive fucking world where everything's super stringent, and it's weird. Like, nobody knows each other, and so now we're like incapable of solving problems. If your neighbor is playing music that you don't like too late at night, like 30 minutes after you want to go to bed, you call the cops. You call the cops, you file a noise complaint. Yeah, it's like, what? It's just ridiculous. Like, when I was growing up, even with the band, we started a band, right? And everybody knew, right? And we were rocking out. And the first time we rocked out and kept everybody up too late, they came over, the neighbors, and we used to all play like in my friend's basement. And basically, somebody asked if we could not play after 10 o'clock on weeknights and, midnight or whatever it was on the weekends. We said, fine. From then on, we could practice there, shed there, throw parties on the weekend, and we would rock out like crazy till midnight, shut it down, and everybody kick it, right? Like, you just learn how to get along, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we miss a lot of that. When I came to the city, it's like I did not like the environment. Well, I'm still living in a city now, but it wasn't like, if I had a choice, I would be still in a small town. But due to the fact that I have medical conditions and because I need services, I have to be a city slicker, and like a reluctant city slicker. But the thing is, sorry, what I was getting at is that when I came back into a city, like a proper city for the first time, there was like the cliques, the neighborhoods, all of them are sticking to their corners, and even with me, like with all the clothes that not holes that you see me so far. But basically, I'm a 90s punk. Like, my attire is usually 90s punk, stuff like that. And when I went to the African like block quarter or whatever, they would basically give me some googly eyes because I wasn't dressed up like them and stuff like that. Now, also another thing, I kind of in high school and even with the college and university, I basically was clique hopping. I cannot just stand into like there's where like the music cliques, the somewhat nerd clique, the video games clique, then stuff like that.
Yes, me too. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's what I love. Yeah, everything for me is just about the communities. Go ahead. Yeah, I feel you on that.
And it's just like, and even the what I call wood, but it's basically carpentry and even welding cliques or even mechanics. Like, I cannot stand to be in one specific group all the time. I cannot do that. Like, you know.
Yeah. Chris, can I ask you about something? Because you asked me a question. I wanted to ask you something. You mentioned that there still is the racism and stuff like that in Canada, and I wanted to ask you if you could just talk about what that's like a little bit, because we do talk so much about racism, and I think that people got to understand that there is that, but then there's sort of more of an international picture where sort of colorism or something like that may come into play, and it's not as cut and dry or maybe as always extremely represented, but maybe can you talk a little bit of what that was like and how you maybe dealt with that?
In my small town or in the big cities?
No, I mean, just however it hits you, man. I don't know. I don't know that much about like what that perspective is like outside of, say, racism in America. So whatever you feel like is worth sharing.
Well, for me, I cannot speak for how things are in the cities because by nature, I'm a recluse. Like, not recluse, but I'm like just being a loner or stuff. Sorry, it's just basically because of how I have to live my life with a disability. I don't really have a social life as much. But what I could say about racism to me in my small town is that early, like when I was a kid, a lot of people thought I was adopted. Because all my mother's side is Caucasian, as I told you.
Yeah.
And my father didn't really get along with my mom, but
sure,
somehow popped me, my twin, and my little brother. But anyway,
sure.
And we don't really have a good relationship anyway. Specifically, sorry. But I was probably bullied once for being different, and that was in first grade. And I kind of like, it's kind of like a little bit weird because I have a twin. The fact is that I have a twin, and the twin dynamics kind of goes into it.
Sure. Okay.
You don't like. I was basically, for me, between my twin and I, we were basically, he was the brains, I was the muscle, and my little brother.
Weird. Y'all are twins. Both of y'all are supposed to be the brains or the muscle now. No, that's cool. Go ahead.
Sorry. I have a twin. elder twin, and then I have a little brother. But anyway, so it wasn't like it was a little bit. Okay, I'm kind of going off the rails. Sorry.
It's fine.
So it was. It's like I didn't need, like personally, it's like I didn't feel the utmost need to socialize with other people, and that's with my routine. And sorry, I'll just like if you want more information, just
Sure. No, it's interesting. Go ahead.
Talking about that. Sorry. And I'll just okay. I'm going back.
So you got bullied, right? You said
yes. And also, I also was when the bomb. Well, the towers fell, and in 9/11.
Yeah.
Kids started to call me Bin Laden.
Oh wow! I'm sorry. That's terrible.
Damn.
That's fucked up.
They're looking for someone to hate. They just wanted someone to hate on, and there you were.
Wow.
Well, not like this. It's just it was a teasing thing.
Sure.
But to some probably was anyway, just because I was anyway not in.
Damn.
Anyhow, I had that darker complexion and stuff like that. Yeah. And it kind of played also with my name a little bit. But anyway,
sure.
But yeah. Other than that, there was actually the fact that like I told you, I come from a the region where I'm from. I come from a prominent family that was basically because my grandfather was a gym teacher and my mother was a pharmacist, a independent pharmacist. Like
sure. Okay, so everybody knew who they were. Yeah.
But so basically, everybody knew who I was, like who we were, like what family we come to, and if anything happened, it's going to be dealt quietly. Like I never, and I don't know, and also the fact that I had educational assistants, like I wasn't, they kind of took care of me and stuff like that. So in retrospect, I haven't really experienced racism like to a prominent degree.
Sure.
Also the fact that I knew that I was different.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of enough, right? It's always like there's enough to know you're different to remind you of that, and then hate to say it, it's almost like you it's enough to make you spend the rest of your life just knowing how uncomfortable that type of thing is, and yeah, it's a thing you can't turn off. So at any given time, like I remember when I first started streaming. And I joke about getting penis bombed, right? But I also got kind of N-word bombed, right? Like there would be people who either wanted to show up on the call-in and just yell the N-word at me repeatedly, or put it in the live chat. That's one of the things I was happy to get rid of with the boss. That's why that became like an instant ban in my live chat. It was an actual thing people were doing, and I thought, there's only one type of person who's been, hard R-ing this in my channel. So, let's just go ahead and get rid of those people. And yeah, and then even there were some people who called in, and it was like I would just kind of get them away because I thought they were, penis bombers, or I just didn't want to talk to them if they were like, because you'd have people call in who just didn't want to talk about anything. They just called in because they saw that they could call in, and they'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to let you go. And then they just yell the N-word a bunch of times, or chop it, or put it in a live chat before I could. It was like they were racing me to drop the N-word in before I could, leave the studio. And so it's just this thing about you that you can't turn off, and leaves you subject to attack anytime somebody gets the inclination. Which is why I always try to remind people who really want to be allies, don't do the thing where you say you're going to treat all your black friends like everybody else in the world. Please don't do that, because we have a very different lived experience, and it'd be much more productive for you to be sensitive and aware of that, and have certain sensitivities, right? Like, it's just the thing that sucks. And speaking of this penis bomb, it's like how I feel about, non-male people, because, I've been penis bombed, and it felt like I was being assaulted in something in a way that had to do with someone's sexual organs, right? I don't want to say it was in this category of experiences that I don't, think it's the same as, right? But it felt like someone forcing their sex organ on me in a way that very much violated my boundaries, right? And then it happened to me repeatedly, to the point where it felt horrifying. Why do people think that they have the right to do this to me? And it made me so anxious and nervous every single live stream. And I was like, these people are terrorizing me. I am just trying to have a link publicly available to my channel so that people who want to talk to me about the show that I am working very hard to make happen have an easy way to do that. And people are abusing that, and they're doing it so they can force their masturbation on me. And then they're blowing up my Discord doing it, and they're hacking into my system doing it. And I was...
sorry, Jay, were you called out as being gay?
No, I don't know what it had anything to do with. Yeah.
Anyways, no.
Does that still happen now, Jay? Is that like a recent thing, Jay?
No, it hasn't happened to me recently. I think for me it was happening a lot. I think
something like that.
No. I don't know why. It's weird. Yeah, maybe people. But I'm definitely not. So I don't. That would be weird, right? Which is funny because I've thought about this. Like I used to be really into writing songs, and I've always like in my fantasy world, it's like I want to do a love song, and sort of play a gay guy, in the video or whatever for the acting of it. And I think people would literally ignore the fact that I'm heterosexual and every other thing that I make and produce, and even actually plan to, like, if I had a romantic partner, I always say I would like to do my romantic videos with my romantic partner, because then it's like, oh, that girl he's kissing in the video is his girlfriend. People will ignore that and use that one video and be like, I think that guy's fucking gay, right? Right? Instead of like, no, he just wanted to be a creative ally, and I think that'd be a creative, fun challenge for me, right? To see if I can really convince an audience I'm in love with a man, knowing full well I am not romantically attracted to men in any way, shape, or form. But that's the thing. People just like weaponize this sexual identity. But anyway, my point in really telling the story about the dick trauma was it really was traumatic for me. I had to do a lot of things, change a lot of things to try to reduce it. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen often, and I'm always aware of that, the possibility. You never forget. But I cannot imagine what it's like to be a non-male person in the world who that type of thing happens to in every domain of their life practically, right? Every day, forever, again, in a way that they can't turn off. At least I had the option to not stream or go away or not have call-ins or, find a more secure way to get people to contact me. But a woman can't really turn off the risk that the next time she goes in for a job interview, she's going to be sexually harassed, or that her boss decides this is the day he expresses his everlasting love for her, or, you know, the guy that she just started talking to on the internet who seemed like she had finally met a decent guy all decides to send her an unsolicited dick pic, right? And it's just like I literally cannot imagine what it is like for people that just feel like they can just literally traumatize you any goddamn time they feel like it because you decided to exist today, right? Like, it's fucking wild, y'all.
But to be quite honest, at least in the racism part, one of the things that kind of helped me a lot was my eldest cousin, who is quarter Latino and quarter
Thanks,
Chinese.
Caterpillar. Sorry.
And he basically, and that's how I just kind of like coped a little bit with that part of issue, even if it wasn't but the other part that was I was more not exactly discriminated against, but it was just like a annoying part of my life was that is the fact that I was disabled. You know, sorry, I had a disability, or basically like probably, I don't know, 1 month, like 1 month of existence, then go. People, the explanations the grown-ups gave was that I was sick to children. Like when you try to explain to children, like what, like always, Dad, like what's wrong with you or whatever, and it's not done with malice or anything, but the adults would say that, oh, he is sick and stuff like that, and I hated that.
Man, that would have been rough, man. I can hardly even imagine that. That would be awful.
And it's not the kid, and it's not the kids that you know that I would fault them. It's just the adults that would basically just try to dumb down and stuff like that. That's why every time that I had the opportunity to say, I have cerebral palsy, it's a condition from my brain that constricts me to do certain movements. And if they were interested into that, I would basically just, you know, explain them a little bit more, but that was basically it. And there was also the fact that, let's just say, from the 90s, they weren't really up to code until like the 2000s. They weren't really up to code with the buildings of being accessible and stuff like that. So I had to learn a lot of going around and doing stuff on creating my own path. It's like I had to get up through the stairs and stuff like that. You know, it's like taking the stairs with my walker, and it would take a lot of time. And even if I was accompanied, you know, I was a little bit embarrassed of, you know, just being weighed down. And even today, I know that, like, I haven't really I don't know if you know, but I used to be in the Army Cadets.
No, I didn't know that.
And I'm sorry for the I don't remember the
no, it's all good.
the American thing, but it's just like a extra extracurricular thing where you are it's like scouts but more paramilitary structure commands and stuff like that. I couldn't go to summer training or summer camps because of the fact that the military is a machine, and I'm just I'm just like one guy, and it just made a lot of opportunities where, like I've been like I went all the way up to Master Corporal, which is like the third grade, like the third, not the third grade, but it's like you got private, you got corporal, then you got Master Corporal, then it's sergeant. Sorry if I'm kind of getting onto it, but there were basically like badges that you could get for summer camps and stuff like that, and even qualifications, like for fitness and stuff like that. I can do that because I couldn't jump. I couldn't, I couldn't do the long jump. I couldn't not do the high jump by default. So, and even during summer training, like I couldn't I couldn't do stuff due to a technicality because a medical officer deemed that I wasn't able to do that. And another thing was that a cadet instructor cadre had to be the same sex as me because I was a man. Well, I was a boy, but the person that volunteered to go with me was a woman. And for me, that's a little bit ridiculous because I've been showing my ass and my dick to women for personal, PSWs, personal support workers since I was a kid. So it's not that I have a sense of propriety, but it's not something that I am like, sorry, it's kind of like something that you do, like, as long as you don't want to do something inappropriate, I'm fine. Not saying that I wouldn't, would blush if I, in front of a naked woman, but it's just like I've been poked and prod pretty much most of it. That it's just anyway. Sorry if it's too much information.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. It wasn't even. It's not. I'm not afraid to look at a penis. It's just. It's someone. It's someone violating a boundary. One that, I mean, should be obvious, right? It's YouTube. You put a channel in a lot of risk if, and masturbation is what?
Yeah, sorry. I'm talking about my stuff with
the color thing.
No, not the color thing, the disabilities.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, because of your condition. Okay, I'm sorry. I sorry. I thought you were talking about the other thing. I apologize. Go ahead.
And that's okay. You could look it up later and just kind of see where
I see. And
it was, and there was also that, like, one time we were invited with the Army cadets. We were invited to a ship.
Right.
Because
I
the
see.
fact that it was, a cramped, stuff, and it's like, with the doors and all the structure and how it is, I can go.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's only in my final year of cadets, which was my third year, to which I attended a civilian camp, but was basically operated um, by cadet instructors. And we had the whole tower thing, and and we had like specific times. Same thing with same thing with, I guess, with any other camps like Banff or Black Downer, I guess, or any camps. It's just that the rules of accommodation were met, and even stuff like that. Anyhow, it's called Peacekeepers Park. That's their logo, and I basically felt right at home. And there were also veterans that were volunteering, and also not private military companies, but logistical people too. Anyhow, within the reserves are because cadets fall under the reserves branch of the military. Anyway, or at least the funding anyway. But yeah, so anybody that basically was the instructor grade, like as in adults, they were basically qualified Army and cadet instructors. So yeah, and there were also student counselors, basically, just to cut it short. But yeah, and I had a good time. And within that group, there was a lot of guys that were, to me, were worthy of being, of being cadets, because there's the Army cadets, Sea cadets, and Air cadets. Those three branches. Anyway, sorry if I'm rambling.
No, you're good. I gotta head out in a minute though, because I have a meeting. So, is there a? I don't know if we want to try to see that clip. James, I sent you. I think maybe the first one is a clip of where Atheist Junior mentions me, and I'm not sure if there's more beyond that. I think the second one might actually be about something else. Maybe they were talking about trans or something, and Cameron just Cameron sent it to me. So maybe he just wanted to show that to me. But did you want to take a look at that real quick, or
James?
Uh-oh, we pulled the nitty. We put James to sleep on his own stream. I feel terrible. Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Anyway, it's basically because my life story is really like a long conversation. But anyway, to summarize, most of the discriminational part is basically because I had a permanent disability. So yeah. Anyway, so thank you for taking the time of listening to me rambling, Jay.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure. I just want to make sure we get James back in here. I'm not sure.
Well, if you have to go to your meeting,
I actually got to get out of here in a second. I'm actually exporting something I gotta do real quick. Change the date on this.
And as for me, I'll just try to ask like questions anybody's is into that kind of stuff right now.
There's James. Sorry, James. Go ahead, James.
No, I didn't want to interrupt. You guys had your conversation. It's cool, and I respect the struggles that you guys have had to go through, and honestly, it reminds me of The Breakfast Club, and I'm going to say it again. Anybody that hasn't seen that movie from the '80s, please go watch it. We have all these people that have these completely different life experiences. And it always feels like their pain is the most strong and the most real and the most misunderstood. But then they start listening to each other's stories and they start realizing that there's all kinds of different ways to live a living hell. All kinds.
Seriously.
Right?
Yeah.
And they really start to appreciate and respect their respective journeys and struggles, and they bond over that. Like they learn how to respect each other and communicate well and appreciate and value each other, and it's just like this beautiful transformation. And part of it's their shared fight against the man, right? Their shared fight against the man, for them to realize that they're all really about the same things. And that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing people connecting across completely different life experiences to share their pains and their struggles, and it's relatable, and we're bonding over that, and valuing each other's struggles and triumphs. And even though the things that have happened to us are ugly, what we're doing with that now is a beautiful thing. So
yeah, I appreciate that. James, I got to dip out so I can get to my meeting. I'll look at the clip that I got sent, and if you're still live after that's over, I'll come through and chat about it. And if not, then I'll fire it up on mine.
Either channel is fine with me. I'd love to go over that with you and see what they said, because I haven't heard a word of it. So
yeah. Awesome. So I'll definitely plan to do it after my meeting either way.
All right, guys.
Another thing that I would
sure. Go ahead, Chris. I got out of here.
Sorry. There was another thing that I wanted to tell you, but it could be so for another time.
Yeah. Please jot it down or put it in your phone or something just to make sure you remember it. And then as soon as I see you next, I'd love to chat about it. Thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate you. James, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, buddy. See you guys later.
Peace.
All right, gang. That's going to do it for me. I've got to get to my meeting with my teaching mentor, Rob. So I will see you guys after that. I'll be live again after that. And it's just fun and games time. So either we'll chill with James for a little bit if he's still alive. But otherwise, when this is over, it'll be ready to have some fun. Hopefully play some video games. Maybe I can make this bitch Stupid Whore Energy some coffee. She was demanding. She was, bitch, where's my coffee? Make me a latte. I want a mocha cappuccino with double cinnamon and froth. All right, I'll see y'all little demanding ass, high